Hello, and welcome to another episode of my 30 plus decks. Today I'm going to be showing off one that's one of those upgraded precons that I have shown him off before, and this is Commodore Guff. This is one red, one white, one blue for a legendary Planeswalker. Starts at 5 loyalty, and Commodore Guff can be your commander, says so right at the bottom line. For static ability, which I guess it's not so static. It's at the beginning of my end step, I put a loyalty counter on another target Planeswalker I control. So this is a Super Friends deck. That's how it was bought, and that's kind of how I've upgraded it. And it's got a +1 ability for create a 1/1 red wizard creature token with tap, add a red. Spend this mana only to cast Planeswalker spells. And -3, I draw X cards, and Commodore Guff deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of Planeswalkers I control. Definitely this is just kind of a ramp up, or trying to ramp up into him and other Planeswalkers, have a whole bunch of Planeswalkers, and it's, I don't know, kind of reactive. I'd say it's a bit more reactive and defensive in comparison to the other decks that were at the same time. Now this still is a very strong deck. There are some things that I've done, like there's one card in here, Planeswalker of course, and he has a final minus of making any artifact I control a 9/9 creature with, I think, Vigilance and Indestructible. And there is a Nevin Rawls disc where I can tap it to destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments, and it being indestructible and vigilance and a 9/9 unblockable creature is really gross, because I can just consistently board wipe, keeping itself around, and I can also swing and then board wipe because of vigilance. It's really actually kind of stupid. Continuing, I also have things in here like the base deck came with one of the Ajani's where his final minus is, and whenever a source deals damage to me, prevent all but one of that damage. So it can be difficult to just bring my life down if things get out of hand. But I'm just showing off the first 7 turns uninterrupted. Let's get right into it. I already shuffled, I already got my hand ready. Let's go. Draw. Alright. Let's go with this Fury Calm Snarl, revealing a Plains, and going to turn 2. And draw. That will be for that Plains that I revealed. And then I'll tap 2 for, let's go Rampin'. Actually, no. Let's get a creature. 0/4, creatures can't attack Planeswalkers I control unless their controller pays 1 for each creature they control that's attacking a Planeswalker I control. Let's go to turn 3. Untapping, drawing. Let's go Command Tower. That'll be my blue. I'll also be able to tap 2 for an Arcane Signet. I guess I'll keep that separate. Which could also be a blue. That's neat. I'll just tap this 1 for a Wayfarer's Bauble and call it there. Going to turn 4. Untap, upkeep, draw. Now it is something where instead of this Onake Oathkeeper, I could have gone Guff turn 3 by going Arcane Signet turn 2, but I'm perfectly fine with this little bit of setup. Now continuing, let's go with this other Plains. I think that'll be fine. White, red, blue, and 1. Casting Commodore Guff. And I will use his +1 ability, bringing him up to 6, to make a 1/1 wizard that can tap for a red, only to cast Planeswalker spells. Going to turn 5. On tap. Upkeep, draw. Going with a Rugged Prairie. That is a little bit different in the land, so I'll put it over there. More of a filter land. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if I want. Very neat. I'll go white and 2 to cast Oath of Gideon. When this enters, I create 2 1/1 white core allies. There they are. Got 2 of them. And each Planeswalker I control enters the battlefield with an additional loyalty counter on it. So me going like, let's see, 1, 2, 3 for red, and 1. Saheeli, Sublime Artificer. That is starts at 5, but because of Oath of Gideon, brings it up to 6. Whenever I cast a non-creature spell, I create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token, and for -2 ability, target artifact I control becomes a copy of another target creature I control, except if it's an artifact in addition to its other types. I also get to do something like, loyalty counter on end step, something like that. Let's go ahead and +1, making a second wizard. And I think that'll be all for that turn. Going to turn 6, on tap. And draw. Very nice, very nice. Let's go white and 2, casting Gatewatch Beacon. Now this is enters with 3 loyalty counters on it. It doesn't get affected by Oath of Gideon because that's each Planeswalker. So enters with 3 loyalty counters on it as an artifact. It can tap for a white, and whenever a Planeswalker enters a battlefield under my control, if Gatewatch Beacon has a loyalty counter on it, I may move a loyalty counter from it to that Planeswalker. Then let's go blue and 1, 2, 3, casting Spark Double, and it is, you may have Spark Double enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature or Planeswalker I control. So he will be entering as a copy of Commodore Guff. That is a Planeswalker I control entering the battlefield, and a Planeswalker I control entering the battlefield. So he's getting, let's see, let me just read out the rest of it, because it's something like, except it enters with an additional 1/1 counter if it's a creature, or an additional loyalty counter on it if it's a Planeswalker. So, normally would be at 5, but because of its own ability, that's 6. Because of Oath of Gideon, that's 7. And I will choose to move the Gatewatch Beacon counter over, so that will be 8. I will go ahead and -3 on this Spark Double. That is going to deal 3 damage to each of my opponents, and I will draw 3 cards. And it doesn't look like I'd be able to cast anything else, which is fine by me. I can still, let's go -3, so 1, 2, 3, down to 4 to do another 3 damage and draw 3 more cards. Okay. With that, can't do much, but I can do something like this. Let's go Karn's Bastion as my land for turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it's turn 6. Tapping that Karn's Bastion for a Soul Ring that I just drew into. And that is me casting, let's see, this turn I cast Gatewatch Beacon, Spark Double, and Soul Ring, which is technically 2 non-creature spells, so I didn't track that for Saheeli. Got me my 2 servos. Yeah, after a little bit, this deck gets a little bit hard to keep track of, so maybe that's more what it is rather than reactive. interactive. Let's see. I can't do anything with that Soul Ring unless I wanted to turn it into a creature, which I don't. So let's just go to turn 7. And that is going to be untapping. Actually, on end step, I did forget Commodore Guff and the copy of Commodore Guff are going to give each other a loyalty counter on end step. I don't know if I did that the other turn, but Saheeli should have gotten another one on end step from the turn that it was only Commodore Guff and Saheeli. So, that's all said and done and resolved. Not like that really affected much. Let's go on and draw, because I don't have any upkeep. Yeah. You know, I just realized something I'm going to do. With this Chandra being my draw, I'm just going to put that back on top. I had the untapped Soul Ring. I'm just going to use that to crack this Wayfarer's Bauble. It's been on here for way too long, so I'm just going to use that, shuffle away that Chandra, which, I mean, it's like, I know that there was a Chandra now, but thinking of all the things that I possibly could have done. Let's see what else I need in my hand. Let's get an island. Enters tapped. But that will untap on my untap because of it was last turn that I had that Soul Ring up. Very, very casual. This is playtesting. I can back up a step. And that also means shuffle and then new card drawn. It's a land, so it's okay. Land for turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Extra 1 because of the bauble. But that does mean I have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 potentially to work with, which is cool. Let's start off with white, blue, and I'll move these 2 over. I guess my board's getting a bit too expansive. I'm running out of whatever. We all know what's here. Gold Forged Thopteryx. This is a dinosaur Thopter. 1/3 flying lifelink. Each legendary permanent I control has Ward 2, which effectively is all of my Planeswalkers and my Oath of Gideon. Yeah, looks like that. I will also go blue, tap Command Tower for blue, tap these wizards for 1, 2, and I'll tap the Gatewatch Beacon as well for a 3rd. Casting Vronos, Masked Inquisitor. This is one that I was mentioning earlier where he can, or he has a -7, target artifact I control becomes a 9/9 construct artifact creature, gains vigilance and indestructible, and this creature can't be blocked. This guy's gross. This guy's great. Let's go ahead and do these entry effects, which is he starts at 5. Oath of Gideon says he starts at 6. The Gatewatch Beacon, I will move a counter over so he is at 7. Yeah, very cool. Now, as far as it goes, I would probably maybe +1 my original Commodore Guff, -3 the Spark Double. I'd probably do the -3 Spark Double first, just in case. So let's go for it. Just because right now in my hand I have a Temple of Enlightenment, Plains, and I've already played my land this turn, and a Blasphemous Act. I have a handful of creatures, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blasphemous Act is paid for by myself, so I could Blasphemous Act. That's just an option on the table. It would leave behind just Planeswalkers, probably. Anyways, did my -3 to have 4 damage dealt to each opponent because I have 4 Planeswalkers, and I draw 4 cards. That is more land, that is more options, I guess. Let's go. I'll tap this white to tap Rugged Prairie for red, and Soul Ring for 2. Casting Chandra, Torch of Defiance. This is +1. I can exile the top card and cast it. If I don't, Chandra deals 2 damage to each opponent. or a +1 to add 2 red, a -3 to deal 4 damage to target creature, or a -7 I get an emblem with whenever I cast a spell. This emblem deals 5 damage to any target. With entry, it starts at 4 normally, so +1 because of Oath of Gideon, and I'm choosing to keep that loyalty counter on Gatewatch Beacon because there is Proliferate in the deck. I guess I'll go +1 to add 2 red. So that's 1, 2, 3, and a blue with that Arcane Signet. Casting, oh, this is so messy. Kasmina, Enigmatic Mentor, enters normally with 5, and Oath of Gideon says +1, so 6. Spells my opponents cast that target a creature or planeswalker I control cost 2 more. And a -2 to create a 2/2 blue wizard and draw and then discard. Which honestly isn't even a bad idea. Especially if I did something like, you know, holding up this 1 red to potentially Blasphemous Act. And let's just say that I do that. Funny stuff. Because then I can immediately go... Yeah, funny enough, I keep on forgetting my servo tokens, but they're all gone now, so it doesn't actually matter. Let's do this -2. Create a... what is it? A blue wizard. Is it on the back side? Where are they? Cool. Did they not give me a wizard with this? Or did I add that card? Well, then let me grab a wizard if there's one nearby. Otherwise, I'll just say, blam, here's a wizard. I might just say, blam, here's a wizard. Jeez. This monk, he's a wizard. How about that? I also draw a card, then discard a card, which will be this Plains. All of the cards in my hand are lands, so that's not helpful. I have other options, and that's pretty much just Planeswalker abilities. I can plus Commodore Guff to give me another creature, but I'm pretty much saying that I just board wiped. I think that I'd rather just go a -1, 2, 3, bringing him down low, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planeswalkers I control, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards I draw, and each opponent takes 6. I can also go +1 with Vronos. I will choose both Commodore Guff and my Spark Double of Commodore Guff. This says, up to 2 other target planeswalkers I control phase out at the beginning of the next end step. So as soon as I end my turn, him being at 2 and him being at 3 really doesn't matter too much. I can realize they're a little bit off board. Him being at 2 and him being at 3 doesn't really matter too much because they're going to be phased out until my next turn. I will move to my end step. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... I could go 7 or something like that. I'm going to discard Plains, Island, and a Temple of Enlightenment. I don't really need Scry at this point. I've got Draw. And in my hand, I will keep a Jace Mirror Mage, Chain Veil, Kazul, Tyrant of the Cliffs, which is awesome for a deck like this, Narset of the Ancient Way, Forge of Heroes as a land, Prairie Stream as a land, Mystic Gate as a land, just as the hand that I discarded down to. Just trying to think if I missed anything else, because I know that I did your guys' ability, your ability, your ability, your ability. I don't really need to do Saheeli's ability. Yeah. About 20 minutes in. You know what? I feel like doing one more. One thing that I'm going to try and do with this one is typically when it gets a little bit out of hand like that, I will do some kind of system like the die will be kind of reset at beginning of my turn, where I will put it at the bottom of the Planeswalker if it has not been used, and the top of the Planeswalker if it has been used, to keep it, keep myself in track of which loyalty abilities are still able to be used. And I have a couple of ways. You saw Chain Veil right there. That one I can kind of move it back, like if I would move it up and then move it back down, as showing that it hasn't been used that turn. Other things like, what is it? Oath of Teferi. That's the one where it says that you can activate loyalty abilities of planeswalkers you control twice each turn rather than just once. It pretty much makes it to where I will use the middle section as well. So bottom is unused, middle section is used once, top is used twice. It can get a little bit out of hand, so I have to start making up ways to keep track of things. But that's also one reason that this deck is just very strong. There's just a lot of things to keep track of. You probably noticed I was forgetting my Saheeli triggers a lot. Even casting that Blasphemous Act would have made me a servo, and then it would have died. So, funny stuff. There we go. And cut. Let's see how this draw looks. Hey, there's 7. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. I don't have red in my starting hand. I'll risk it. Let's just jump right in. Draw. Land. Turn 2. Draw. Let's go island. Tap in 2. Onake Oathkeeper. Turn 3. Going to draw. That will be a Karn's Bastion. And yes, white and 2. Teo Geometric Tactician. When he enters, I make a wall. It is a 0/4 defender with flying. Very nice wall. And I will choose to +1. Me and target opponent each draw a card. Let's go to turn 4. Untap. Draw. Well, let's see. Let's go blue and 2, casting Oath of Jace. When this enters, I draw 3, then discard 2. 1, 2, 3. Very nice, very nice. Ooh, options. Let's go like that. I will discard an island and an Urza's Ruinous Blast. Yeah. Which is a nasty board wipe. Going to turn 5. Oh, hold on, not going to turn 5. I drew a land in there. So let's go. Temple of Triumph, enters tapped. That's my red source. Scry 1, I like that. Now let's go to turn 5. Silly me. Tap and draw. That's alright. It will enter tapped. Here's a Port Town. White, blue, red, and 1 for Commodore Guff. Also, I scry X at my upkeep, where X is the number of planeswalkers I control. I had 1, but I had just scried 1. I knew what I was getting. I will put this on top just for future notice. Anyways, Commodore Guff. And then starts at 5. I will go up to 6. Here's a wizard. And then with you, I will go up to 5 and I will have someone else draw a card. I draw as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in hand. Let's go to turn 6. I will be untap. Upkeep. I have 2 Planeswalkers, so I scry 2. Let's go like that. And then I will draw. That will be a Reliquary Tower as my land for turn. I have no maximum hand size. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got options. Ooh, that could help. That could help. Okay. Let's go. Red. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Casting Chandra, Legacy of Fire. Now this one's awesome. Let's not move things around too much. Bam. I'll just stack things or something. I don't know. I'll make it work. Let's move my land into a more condensed pile. Let's move my creatures a bit down. Move my planeswalkers a bit down. Something like that. She starts at 3. Has a static at the beginning of my end step. Chandra deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of planeswalkers I control. +1, I add a red for each planeswalker I control. And a 0 ability, remove a loyalty counter from each of any number of permanents I control. Exile that many cards from the top of my library. I may play them this turn. Let's go ahead and do that +1, of course. I have 3 planeswalkers, so I'm adding 3 red. 1, 2, 3. And I'll go ahead and tap this port town for a blue. Casting Spark Double, entering as a copy of Commodore Guff. And that means that he is entering with 6 loyalty. And let's see, actually, let's go ahead and plus you and plus you to just give me 2 more untapped wizards. So I have 3 total wizards. One of them is tapped. The 2 untapped ones don't have haste, so that's fine. And let's move on to turn 7. That will be something like untap. Also noted, on end step, each opponent takes X damage, where X is the number of planeswalkers I control. I will put a loyalty counter on each of my Commodore Guffs from each of their own abilities. I think that I also didn't put one on Teo, but I'm just gonna leave that. There's so many things to keep track of. Untap. Upkeep. I have 4 planeswalkers, so I'm gonna scry 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's good. That's pretty good. Put them on top like that, and then I will draw. Plains is my land for turn. This is neat. Let's see. As far as it goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 land. 9, 10 to work with. For planeswalkers. 11, 12, 13, 14, unless that changes. I gotcha. Ooh, I could do a number of things. Let's do it. I think that's my window. Let's tap these wizards for 3 red, casting Saheeli, Sublime Artificer, and I'll try and be better about these casts. Also, I'm just going to move all of these down. showing that they have not been used this turn. Starts at 5. Then it will be something like +1. I have 5 Planeswalkers, so I add 5 red. +1 to make 6. Casting Chandra, Hope's Beacon. Now, let's put this over here. On cast, I've got that servo. Chandra Hope's Beacon says, whenever I cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it. I may choose new targets for the copy, only once each turn. +2 to add 2 mana in any combination. +1, exile the top 5 cards of my library. Until the end of turn, I may cast instant or sorcery spells from among them, those exiled cards. -X, Chandra deals X damage to each of up to 2 targets. Interesting. You know, with that almost changes my turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go 1, 2, and this for a red. Casting Call the Gatewatch. And because of Chandra, that is copied. So I'm going to be searching my library for 2 Planeswalkers, revealing them, putting it in my hand, then shuffling. That makes me just the one more. Yes, casting, not copying. So just the one more servo. And which one should I even search for? I like a Johnny Steadfast, so I'll go with him. He has a -7. I get an emblem with, if a sorcerer deal damage to me or a Planeswalker I control, prevent all but 1 of that damage. And let's see. I do like Vronos. I had scryed and put him on top. I don't know, that might be my option. Yeah, let's go with it. Vronos, Mask Inquisitor. So I will shuffle up, both of those will go to my hand. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll give her a die. Let's see. That means that I could do either a Johnny Steadfast or Vronos, which I would prefer a Johnny. So that'd be 1, 2, and then plussing her by 2 to add 3, 4. Casting a Johnny Steadfast. On cast, that makes me a 3rd servo. This is starts at 4. And I can +1 to give up to 1 target creature +1/+1 first strike, vigilance, and lifelink. Which I guess I'll do. That will be on my Onake Oathkeeper. Not like I'm going to attack with him, but there's that. It also has a -2. I put a 1/1 counter on each creature I control and a loyalty counter on each other Planeswalker I control, which is very powerful. And a -7 ability, which is I get an emblem with, if a source would deal damage to me or a Planeswalker I control, prevent all but 1 of that damage. Yeah. Let's go ahead and -3 for here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Planeswalkers, so each opponent takes 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 cards I draw. And I don't have to worry about discarding at the end of the turn because of my Reliquary Tower. That is gas. Oh yeah, that's gas. In a good way. And then, let's do it again. Another 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And for the most part, I can't cast anything. For the most part. So, let me just take a second, like this and this, rearrange and such. Bam. Okay. Looking around, the only other thing I can think to do, +1, me and someone else draw a card. Sahili hasn't done that minus, and I don't care about that. What I can say is, moving to my end step, Chandra will be dealing 7 damage to each opponent because that's the number of Planeswalkers I control. So that's a total of 21 damage that I've dealt this turn, just through Planeswalker burn. And both of my Guffs will be putting their loyalty counters onto Ajani. Yeah. I will go through my hand real quick before ending. Path to Exile, and I do have that Port Town untapped, so I can do this. Honestly, a thought that I had was I could just Path to Exile one of my own servos, which makes a servo, and would get me another land onto the battlefield tapped. Because that is typically done to take out my opponent's threats, but it could also be done to advance my own board, but that's all a what if. It really is a what if. Heart of Kirin, which is very cool. 4/4 Flying Vigilance, has crew 3, or I may remove a loyalty counter from a Planeswalker I control rather than crew cost. Leori, which was kind of the backup commander, 3/3 Flying Vigilance. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, choose a Planeswalker type. Until the end of turn, whenever I activate a loyalty ability of the Planeswalker of that type, copy that ability and choose new targets for the copy. Ickermoon Gauntlets was one of my favorite additions. Planeswalkers I control have 0 to proliferate, and -12 take an extra turn after this one. This one, with enough Planeswalkers, can just be me taking as many extra turns as I want, or so. And it's also, when I mentioned that I drew gas, this is exactly what I meant. Also, whenever I cast a non-creature spell, choose a counter on target permanent, put an additional counter on that of that kind on that permanent. Which, if I had played out a next turn, this one would come out, and then maybe Heart of Kirin, and that would be choosing Ajani Steadfast, and that's the 7 loyalty that he's at. Pretty much, hey, you have a loyalty counter, you get an additional 1, putting him up to 8, and then -7, so he's still alive, and that sweet emblem. The Wanderer. Prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to you and other permanents you control. -2 to exile target creature with power 4 or greater. Solid choice. Nevinrel's Disc, I had mentioned. Jace Mirror Mage, which 3 cost but can be kicked for 2 to make a copy. And that one's either a +1 to scry 2 or a 0 to draw a card, reveal it. Remove a number of loyalty counters from him equal to that mana value of that whatever thing. So very solid, very cool card. Vronos. Teferi Temporal Pilgrim, which I love. Whenever you draw a card, put a loyalty counter on him. For a 0, draw a card. -2, you make a 2/2 Spirit token with Vigilance, and whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. And then a -12, target opponent chooses a permanent they control and returns it to their hand. Then they shuffle each non-land permanent they control into their library. This one is brutal, especially with the Ickermoon Gauntlet, when you have just enough things getting things up to 12. Yeah, and whenever you draw a card, you put a loyalty counter on him. Commodore Guff could just expedite that. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. Jaya's Phoenix, whenever it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, copy the next loyalty ability that would be activated this turn. May choose new targets for the copy. Whenever I cast a planeswalker spell, if this is in my graveyard, I return it to the battlefield. Chandra's Awakened Inferno can't be countered. +2, each opponent gets an emblem with, at the beginning of your upkeep, this emblem deals 1 damage to you, which is very funny, where they'll just keep on getting more and more and more burned. -3, this deals 3 damage to each non-elemental creature, which is, I don't think I have too many elementals in here. and a -X, deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. If a permanent would die this turn, exile instead. If a permanent dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile instead. Narset I had in my hand last turn, but she wouldn't have gotten haste, or maybe that was the beginning of this turn. Yes, because I was before all of that draw. She was in my hand as, an extra thought of what could I cast, what could I do, but she wouldn't have haste. Otherwise, I might have. Elspeth, Sun's Champion, +1. Oh, hold on. Narset, I'm just passing by as if you guys know. Whenever she attacks, exile the top 4 cards of my library. Until the end of my turn, I may cast non-creature spells from among them without paying their mana costs, which for the most part is me trying to hit planeswalkers. Elspeth, +1, I make 3 1/1 soldiers. -3, destroy all creatures of power 4 or greater. -7, I get an emblem with creatures I control have +2/+2 and have flying, which is really just great for having blockers, chump blockers for my commanders. Then land. Yeah. Cool. I'm going to call it with that. This deck did exactly what it's supposed to do, and yeah, it's kind of a silly deck. I don't use it too terribly often because it really honestly can be hard to keep track of, but man, when I use it, it shocks and awes. It's great. Hope you guys enjoyed. I definitely enjoyed playing for you. Yeah. Gonna go shuffle this up. Catch you on the next one, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Later.